My name is Mark Allred, and I play in Upstanding Youth.
How did you get into punk and ska music?
How did I get into it?
Yeah.
I was originally a trumpet player in marching band at high school, and it got to a point where I wanted to do something that was more rock and roll influenced, and so I started trying to search for any type of genre that used horns with rock and roll and punk. So I stumbled across ska. I learned more about all the different waves of ska and different types of, so No Doubt, Mustard Plug, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, all those types of bands back in the 90s that were using horns to mix with punk. And that's kind of where my foundation for that came from.
Cool. What was your favorite part of being in the local scene here in Hawaii?
Favorite part? I don't know. There's too many things to just say one favorite part. I think one of the cool things about being in such a small scene is that you know everybody.
Sure.
Like, we know all the bands really well. You know when people get married, you know when people have kids.
Yeah, it definitely is more of a community rather than like, I mean, it's a scene, but it's a community within that scene, and everybody, yeah, it's not so much a competition, it's everybody getting along and supporting each other.
I think a big piece of that is that everyone realizes that you can poison the well really easily and really quickly here. So I think anyone really realizes they need to avoid doing stuff like that.
Congrats, Mark.
Thanks, Eric.
How long have you been active in the local scene?
About 11 years now.
Yeah, as Upstanding Youth, but I mean active in the sense of just participating, going to shows and stuff like that.
Right.
Since senior year in high school, I used to drive down to Pink Cadillac by myself just to get to know who's who and figure out, you know, what's going on here and who I needed to get in touch with.
Sure. What would you say was your favorite venues on the island, or favorite?
In general?
Yeah. They can be shut down too, you know, I mean, just overall.
I mean, each one had a unique vibe. Everyone had something different about it. Like Pink Cadillac was definitely, you know, the younger kids could go there and just be complete punk rockers and just be, you know, complete debauchery in the sense of punk rock, you know, and live that scene there, you know. That's what was cool about Pink Cadillac.
I think for me, my favorite would probably be Coffee Factory, just because that's where the scene really started to gel and it started to grow, and at least the people that we kind of came up with all started to form their bands and play there. That was a lot of fun.
Coffee Talk and Coffee Factory, those two were really, I mean, they were small coffee shops, and they would just get so packed full of so many people, and there was just such an energy in those tight spaces, you know, and people singing along and barefoot, bouncing off the walls, people breaking windows because there's too many people in the room, you know, and just dripping sweat, singing louder than the PA kind of stuff, you know, that stuff. Those coffee shop shows were really epic, were really, really fun.
And, if there was one band you could see more often, or any number of bands you see more often here, who would it be?
Like a local band that we could see, like hang out with or perform with?
Perform or watch?
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
I remember, well, talking old school, when I first started kind of looking at local bands that were doing ska, Red Session was one that I met the trombone player at Radio Shack at the Windward Mall once, and he started kind of turning me on to it. And I never got to see them live until like in the early 2000s when they played some random show at the Hawaiian Hut. And I only got to see them play once, and it was so emotional for me because I had, you know, been raised on those guys, and I never got to see them play live. And this one time, I really wish I could have seen more of them, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the bands that we've played with over the years, I mean, I wish that we could play more often. Definitely the guys in Black Square are really good friends of ours. Pimbot that we're playing with tonight, a bunch of really good friends. That's the best part about it, is, you know, you play with a show with some guys and then you get to hang out. And especially for a bunch of us where we don't get to play that often anymore, it's just fun to see our friends.
Right. And what are your guys' favorite memories as a band? you have any stories you'd like to tell?
I think going on tour and stuff has always been the biggest piece of just being just a band and going off and doing our thing. So back in 2007 when we did our own tour on the West Coast, being on the road together and playing all these random shows, and I don't know, it's too hard to nail down any one thing, you know. I mean, I think it's a compilation of so many different times together and going through so many different episodes in life together. I think that's a huge part of, for our band, what I have found is so significant is that we've all been together when people have been married, when people have had children, when people have gotten advanced academic degrees, when we've won awards as a band, when we've finished records, and you know, when family members die. This has been kind of like a second family for a lot of us, and that's kind of, you know, not to diminish the live shows or any of that kind of stuff, but I mean it's a whole complete separate family that's been pretty significant for most of us, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, that it's hard to pin down one particular memory. I mean, we've had so many things that we've just died laughing, and experiences where, you know, they're just hilarious or so much fun, but it's the cumulative experience of being together as a band that's just, it's definitely an awesome experience. It is a family, and but yeah, I mean, there's been so many times at rehearsal where, you know, I'm amazed I can still keep playing because I'm laughing so hard my stomach is hurting, and we're all just like dying laughing, and we've got little musical inside jokes that we throw into our music and just stuff like that. It's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate your help.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.